So today, my friend, I'm gonna be telling you about 8 Italian inventions. And no, it's not gonna just be pizza or pasta, which, by the way, Italy did not invent pasta. Yeah, fight me, but Italy did not invent pasta, but they invented a lot of other cool stuff, which we are gonna be talking about today. So if you're Italian, get ready, cause it's kinda cool to know your country's inventions. And if you're not Italian, it's still cool to know, but don't worry, your country is coming. But also, as you know, we're gonna be ranking the inventions in terms of how cool it is, in my opinion. And I said my opinion, cause you might be different. So let's get started, because Italy made a lot more inventions than pizza. For example, they made eyeglasses, so if you're blind and you need glasses to see, you gotta thank Italy. Because in the late 1200s in northern Italy, monks were complaining that they were losing their eyesight while copying manuscripts, so Italian glassmakers created the first wearable spectacles. And boom, people could see again. And I used to wear glasses, and without them, honestly, my friend, I couldn't see a thing. So honestly, thank you, Italy. We're putting this invention in S tier because it actually helps a lot of people. But also, another invention Italy made was the radio, which I don't think a lot of people use nowadays except in cars when Spotify is not working. But yeah, an inventor named Guglielmo Marconi made the radio, and his first test of it was actually hilarious because it was June 1895 and Marconi had a transmitter on one side of a hill. Then he gave his assistant a receiver and he gave him a gun. Yep, a gun, I'll tell you why. So the assistant went to the other side of the hill to test the radio system, and then Marconi sent the signal, and when the assistant got the signal, he fired the gun to tell Marconi that the signal was received. So the gun was kind of useful, and that was the official birth of the radio. So yeah, cool invention. And for the ranking, also S tier, because this invention helped with the creation of TV signals, Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, and a lot more. So yeah, it's awesome as well. But another thing that Italy also made was the banking system. You know how we have banks today that have our money and everything? So that whole system, yeah, Italy made it. So before this system, people used to write on a piece of paper like, oh, I bought something or I sold something. And that was it. They didn't really write the numbers for some reason. And if someone stole money from you, there would not be a single way to find who or how much. Yeah, it was weird. So in Italy in the 1400s, they made something called the double entry bookkeeping, where people wrote on two papers or two sides of the paper, and on one side it showed where the money came from, which is called credit, and on the other side it showed where the money went, which is called debit. And I know what you're thinking about, my friend. You're probably thinking, yeah, that's silly. That ain't even an invention. Like, that's just common sense. But you're probably saying that because you just know that system because we live in it, you know? Like, people back then didn't know what they didn't know. They only know it because someone made it up, and that's why we know it. You know what I mean? So yeah. But it wasn't really common sense back then. But I get your points. They could have just written the numbers or written something. I don't know. But anyway, for the ranking, I think I'll put it in B tier just because there was some lack of common sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, B tier. But also, another invention that Italy made was the typewriter, which I know you never used, my friend. Oh, but I used my grandpa's once. No, you probably never used it. Actually, okay, maybe your grandpa's because people stopped using it in the 1980s, but I never used one myself. But yeah, back in the early 1800s, writing was really hard for blind people. Well, still now, writing on paper is hard for blind people. And it's kind of obvious. They're blind. They can't see the paper and cannot see the lines. Like, even you, my friend, like, try closing your eyes and writing something. It will probably be a mess. And I'll tell you now why I'm talking about writing for blind people. Because in Italy, there was a man named Pellegrino Turri who had a close friend who was blind. And his friend wanted to write letters, but she could not see the paper because she was blind. So Pellegrino, as an inventor, built the typewriter for her. So yeah, that's really cute. So because the story is super cute, A tier for the typewriter invention. Even though I never used it myself, but the intention was nice. But also, another thing that Italy made was the espresso machine, because back then, even now, it would take too long to make coffee by boiling water and then waiting for the coffee grounds to drip and all of that process. So a guy named Angelo Morandi made the espresso machine, which uses steam pressure to like push water through the coffee grounds, and that made it like super quick. So yeah, that invention made coffee a lot quicker and easier for people. But also, because you're my friend, you should know something about me. I don't like coffee. I drink it, but I don't like it. And I don't have a problem against coffee in general, just I don't like depending on it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when I drink coffee, yeah, I get more energetic, but then the day after, I need coffee to be energetic. Like, it feels like a drug. And the same time, like when I drink coffee, I don't sleep well, and that affects a lot of people too. Like, a lot of people drink coffee, but then they have like horrible sleep, which sleep is more important than coffee, you know what I mean? So yeah. And another thing that I really hate about coffee or coffee culture in general are the people. Like, have you ever seen someone in the morning and you're like, good morning, and they're like, oh, I haven't had my coffee yet. Yeah, like, seriously, bro, like, grow up. Like, you know, you can talk to people without having coffee. So yeah, like, again, not a specific problem about coffee, but yeah, like, it kind of reminds me of a drug or something. I don't know, people depend on it way too much, and because of that, I'm gonna be putting this invention in D tier. Yeah, because it just made people depend more on coffee. So yeah, D tier. But anyway, back to another invention, and we got the battery. And this one is obviously amazing because before the 1800s, scientists knew electricity was a thing. Like, obviously it's real, but they weren't able to store it anywhere. But then a physicist named Alessandro Volta built something called the voltaic pile, which was the first battery in history. So he took metal discs made of zinc and copper, and he cut pieces of cloth, and then he put the cloth in salt water, and then he stacked them in repeating order. So it was like zinc, cloth, copper, and when he stacked them together like tall enough, that pile created a steady stream of electricity, which technically made the battery. And I love this one. Like, honestly, without it, I don't think we'll have half of the things that we have in our homes. So because of that, S tier. But also, Italy invented the barometer, and you probably don't know what it is, but it's an instrument that measures atmospheric pressure, and it's used to know the weather. And honestly, for me, that's all I care about. Like, obviously it's used for a lot of many other things, but the main one is predicting the weather. And it was made by Evangelista Torricelli, who was a student of Galileo, actually. Anyway, because of this invention, we can predict storms and create modern forecasting systems and know everything about the weather prediction. So yeah, super cool, saves a lot of people, tells me when to wear a jacket. So yeah, I love it. Honestly, S tier as well. Yeah, those inventions are, are really amazing. And for the last invention, Italy also made the thermometer, which was made by a doctor and a scientist named Santorio. Okay, that's that's a good name. But anyway, he made the first clinical thermometer, which was a long tube and had a bulb in the bottom, and it had a special liquid inside, and that liquid would move up and down depending on the temperature. But this invention changed medicine forever, because now doctors can diagnose fevers and understand infections and build real medical science with real data. So this invention really helped medicine. So another cool invention and another S. And my friend, I'm not biased, I just really like those inventions. Like, honestly, we use all of them almost every day, except the typewriter, which I don't think I'll ever use in my life, but the story was cute. So yeah, for the inventions, good job, Italy. You've done well.